All right, so we finished with the front brake and now on to the back brake. All right, so first thing to get started on this is we're going to try to remove the brake pad wear sensor, and we'll start on the connector side, which is right here. You stick a little flathead screwdriver in there, you turn it, there it goes, came right out. That's actually pretty easy, that sensor removal, just like on the front one. You stick a little flathead into here, you turn, and it pulls out. All right, so after you disconnected that brake pad wear sensor from the back there where I showed you, just cut that sensor off. All right, next step is to place a box or something sturdy underneath the caliper, and then you want to start removing the caliper bolts. And now I use a breaker bar to get in there just for the initial couple turns, because they're usually on pretty tight. So now a couple turns and you can probably just remove these by hand. And if you're wondering why I didn't use that yellow bucket like I did last time, unfortunately there's a lower control arm. There we go. There we go. Sticking out down below, and I just couldn't fit that bucket in the same way. But all right, that's a little better. Got this box here underneath it. Now, can't see very well, but this brake line bracket, this brake line here, let me try to get the camera back there. Brake line here is attached to that bracket right there, which is attached directly to the caliper. You can see there's not too much tension on this brake line here. So there's really no need to remove any kind of brackets there. Just wanted to show you that up close. So you may recall, just like on the front rotor, I'm removing these screws here with a Phillips screwdriver. And fortunately I used anti-seize on it when I installed these spacers. And so those came out nice. That one came out nice. This one should also. But I will be replacing these screws with new screws. It's not required to replace the screws. Oh wow, that one's a tough one. Be right back. Of course, right after opening my big mouth about taking out these screws and how easy it is when you have anti-seize, I get to this screw, which is challenging me. It does not want to come out. I've tried a couple of things to try to loosen it, and I've only made it worse, but I've used a little bit of PB Blaster. I tried carefully using an impact driver. That didn't help. It actually stripped the screw a little bit, not completely. So I am going to, so this is now like 2 hours later, and I've gone online to look at videos on how to remove stuck rotor screws. One of the methods involves using a punch to kind of hit and loosen hopefully loosen the whatever it is that's the corrosion inside that's causing it to be stuck. And then another tool, which I saw on a video, and then my buddy Ray confirmed would be definitely useful, is something called an impact screwdriver. I've never used one of these before, but I ran out and bought one at the auto parts store. And believe it or not, these are not easy to find. They don't even sell these at Home Depot. So I had to go to an auto parts store for this. And anyways, the way this tool works is you put the screwdriver, the Phillips bit, in the end there, and you hit the back of this thing, and as you're hitting it, it's turning it. And so I'm first going to try loosening this a bit with this. to see if I can get some of the corrosion loose. We're gonna give that a couple whacks there. Oh, and I think I mentioned I already sprayed the PB blaster in there. So I'm just giving this a few taps. See if that works. No, that does not work. And I don't want to strip it worse because I've already stripped it. So now I'm going to open up this package here and give this a shot. All right, so I've got this tool set up. Let's give it a shot, see what happens here. You're supposed to put the bit in that's going to fit the tightest in there, and that would be this one. Let's see. No, not yet. Let's try it a little more here. Let's see if that helped. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That sure worked. All right, and now to remove the, there we go. Oh, I feel like the rotor's about to pop off. All right, we got the spacer off here. Let me take this light off because that's about to, looks like it felt like it's about to fall. The rotor. Yeah. Ah, there we go. That was easy. All right, so I'm going to start by getting all this crud off. And obviously there's a lot of crud on there. And that's part of the reason why that rotor screw was stuck. So I am going to go ahead and get working on this. I'm not going to have you watch me do the whole thing because this takes a while. I'll spray some corrosion inhibitor on there and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, while I'm letting that corrosion inhibitor work in there, I'm going to go ahead and just spread out the brake pads here. And this is just so that when I put the new brake pads in, everything is, all the pistons are compressed so that I can get the new pads to fit around the rotors without any issue with the new rotor. Now these brake pads pop right out. Remember, they're just held in place by tension, and you'll see they're gonna pull out the you can see the brake pad wear sensor still attached, and there you go. These pop out nice and easy. And now we can go ahead and, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up the caliper on the inside and then put the new pads on. Then we'll attach the rotor and then put it back on. Be using some of this stuff again to clean that out. All right, so let's go ahead and put this anti-squeal grease on the back of these pads. We're gonna cover them up nice. Remember, we want to get it around these holes and on anything that touches metal. So anything where there's metal on metal. And we're also going to put it on the little ring, or on the little rods that this thing goes into. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to put it on the rods here that these pads go onto. So I'm going to just dab some on my finger here. All right, time to put these on. And remember, the side with the brake pad wear sensor goes to the back. So we'll go ahead and pop this in there. Remember, there's a little bit of tension because of the spring on the back, the spring clip. I'm gonna put this one in now, and there we go. Easy peasy. All right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the caliper studs, and you could see this, there's one hole for the top caliper stud, and there's the bottom one. And I'll be, putting Loctite on that. But before I do all that, I'm gonna run the thread chaser through here. Just make sure it's all cleaned out. And once I do that, I'll be ready to put the studs in. So, backing out the thread chaser now. I'll do the bottom one first. There we go. All right, we're gonna thread this one in. And now I'm gonna use the torque wrench set to 10 foot-pounds and tighten these babies up. Oh. All right, let's see. Oh. Now, it's not a lot. You hear that? That's it. That's it for that one. And let's get this one. It's just a little more than hand tightening, but you want to make sure you follow the instructions and do it right. So, just a reminder, I'm putting on these new GiroDisc rotors, which are 350 millimeter rotors, which are bigger than the 330 millimeter rotors that this car normally takes. And because of that, I have to use these spacers that GiroDisc includes with the kit. The kit includes the spacers, and they also send you the extended caliper bolts. But since I went with the studs, I don't need the caliper bolts. But these spacers, the way they work is they go on here. I'm just gonna leave that there for right now so I don't lose it. And they push the caliper out a little bit to accommodate the larger size rotor. All right, so before I put the rotor on, I'm just gonna pre-treat these new stainless steel rotor screws that have a T30 head on them. I ordered those to replace the old rotor screws, anticipating that there may be some challenges with them, and sure enough there was. So I'm just going to give these screws a nice little coat of copper anti-seize, and this time hopefully that works better than the last time. Okay, lifting the rotor up and trying to line it up with those holes for the set screws, and I got it. Now to match up the beautiful There we go. Got the first set screw in. Now we're gonna get the second one in. And now that I have those in, I can just give it a nice little hand tighten. All right, the next step is going to be to slide the caliper onto the caliper studs. Okay, I discovered what was inhibiting me from pulling the caliper further away is that the brake pad wear sensor connector was still attached to this, which is fine, but I wasn't able to pull the caliper away sufficiently enough. Now I'm able to pull it away and we can slide. Let's make sure. Well, make sure that the pad, oh, there we go, separated. Bam. All right, it's on. All right, so just like with the front caliper, I'm going to use this fastener assembly lubricant that came with these studs from GiroDisc, and I'm going to cover these threads here on the caliper studs, the top and the bottom. Put a generous amount of that lubricant on there, and then I'm going to take these nuts right here, and well, first I'm going to put these washers, and then put the nuts on after I put the washers on, obviously. But I'm talking about these nuts right here. It's a little hard to do with the camera in the way, but I'm doing this all for you guys. Well, I'm doing it for me, but I'm making the video for you. Let's see, I'm just gonna, I don't mind being a little generous here with the all this stuff. Just want to make sure I get plenty on there. Kind of smear it around with my finger a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put on the washer. Make sure I get the washer on with the smooth side out, and then go ahead and, whoa, don't know if I bumped that too hard for you. I don't know if you're still able to see what I'm doing, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start threading these on. And just as a reference, these only go on to 50 foot-pounds of torque, not like the caliper bolts, which go on to 60. All right, I'm gonna first tighten these by hand, and that is, oh no, it's a 14 millimeter socket, not 13. All right, here we go. That's the click we're looking for. Yep. That's the click we're looking for. We are not quite done, but we're almost there. Now to install the brake pad wear sensor. I would love for you to see how this all comes back together. So I'm trying, but you can see that was the thing loose. And then you slide that in there like so. Oop. And I apologize if this is not, if you're not able to see. And then I turn. It's a little hard with the camera there, but I turn this so that it's, the flat side is facing up. You see that? Let me see. I'm trying to get it so that you can see, guys. Alright. Let's see, that might work. And then, with the flat side facing up, I try to get this part also with the flat side facing up in there. And I'm gonna try to get it. Oh, come on. There we go. And you hear it click. I hope you're able to see that, because it wasn't easy to make that happen. From there, remember, the skinny part of this thing goes to the back, the metal back plate. Same here. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show that to you. All right, just trying to show you how this is going to eventually go. You can see you put the red wire right there under those things. We're going to wedge the black part here into that little crimped area, and then the skinny part goes to the back of the pad, the metal part. That skinny part goes to the back, and then the fat part goes to the brake pad part. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the camera in there, but anyways, just wanted to show you before I press everything together. Guys, I think I'm done. I'm just going to go back and double check all my work because I still have all the wheels off on all four corners, but I think I've got it all finished, and it really wasn't that bad of a job. It was actually pretty easy. I'm going to check everything out, and then I'm going to come back and give you another update. Well, guys and gals, I'm finally finished completely upgrading the brakes on my car, and that includes the brake pads, the rotors, installing caliper studs and brake line bracket studs. I even did stainless steel brake lines, so look out for a separate video where I'm going to be showing how to do the stainless steel brake lines. But I have to say, I'm very happy with this job. I've actually had a chance to take the car out, bed in the brakes, you know, do a bunch of high-speed, aggressive stops, and overall, definitely a noticeable improvement in the brake performance. Most likely, the improvement that I've been able to experience just doing some city driving is mostly from the pads. I think where I'm going to experience the greater improvements in performance is on the track, where my brake system will now not only be benefiting from the more track-focused pads, but also from the rotors and the rotor design, the two-piece floating rotor design that I put on this car, which not only help with the cooling, but having the larger rotors on the back wheels gives you more mass to help dissipate the heat. So, you know, the goal here was to have a brake system that was going to cool more effectively, and by doing that, offer better performance at the track, less brake fade and things like that. But anyways, really happy with how this turned out. It turned out to not be a very difficult job, a little time consuming, but that's okay. I took my time doing it, and you know, part of taking my time doing it was setting up the camera and trying to get all the angles in there. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.